Right. It's time for the late night boxing talk, son. It's time for the talk, son. Yeah, I mean? Yeah, man. Couple of subjects want to touch on, or expand upon, I should say. Some of them were discussed previously. Was goody Iron Kebab? Was goody Terry and Folk? Was good. Yeah, there's a couple of subjects I want to touch on. A few that we talked about already, really, you know what I mean? Like, a few of them. Like right now, somebody sent me a tweet in reference to the Errol Spence Jr. versus Ugas numbers, the numbers for the pay-per-view, because what the reports seem to indicate, what the reports from the actual boxing scribes seem to indicate is a sharp decline. Whether you go by Lance Pugmire's or Dan Raphael's number, or you go by Rick Glacier's number. Rick's saying that the pay-per-view didn't even do 240. He's saying that the pay-per-view did somewhere in between 100,000 and 200,000, which is not far-fetched. It's not hard to believe. The main guys that hype up these pay-per-views, that they seem to be big advocates of putting every fight behind a paywall, so long as it's the PBC, the main guys that do this are not guys that buy fights. You got guys like I made a post on Twitter about the attendance for Canelo Alvarez's fight. And then somebody posted the attendance for Errol's fight, not realizing, okay, you do realize 73,000 people is a lot more than 39,000 people. You literally had people arguing that, Spence sold it out when no, he didn't sell it out. The AT&T Stadium seats 80,000 people. In order for him to sell it out, he would have had to have sold 80,000 tickets, and we all know he didn't do that. So what is it you're not understanding, and what is your problem? Why is so much of your ego and yourself tied to this fighter that doesn't know who the fuck you are? It doesn't make sense. You have literally tied your own ego to where you feel so inclined to lie, exaggerate, embellish, because people are telling you, yo, look, it's Canelo and everybody else, And if you could accept that, then there would be nothing wrong with 39,000 people in attendance, or even 240 to 150,000 pay-per-views sold. If you could just accept the reality. Where it becomes comedy is that you can't accept reality. You want to be in denial, and you think because your denial is persistent that somehow that's going to strengthen your argument or make it better. Like, no, you just look like a fucking idiot. What's goody, Alex? What's goody, Christopher? It's a big week. It's a very big week. Country was good. It's a very big week. We got the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor fight set to go down. I will be doing a prediction video when it comes to that. I believe that I was asked to come on HCP. I'm gonna check again. I think I saw it in my Instagram. I believe Beeb sent me a message to hit up ACP. That could be this Thursday. I'm gonna check it again. And I'll probably be over there on Thursday. Just appear and talk on a panel real quick. And yeah, man, that's a great fight. It's a great fight. And I'm happy that fight is made, that finally they were able to reach amicable terms to see the fight become a reality. But many of the talking points I have in reference to the fight, they're going to sound familiar, because when you have one fighter saying, nah, I ain't ready to retire. Nah, I don't be thinking about retiring. And then you got another fighter saying, oh, I only think I got one more year in the sport, because who going to pay me what I'm getting for Katie? When you hear that, that shows you where the mindset of the fighter and where they head is at as they approach the biggest fight of their career. A lot of people don't like to hear this, but it's like, I was talking to whatchamacallit. Damn, let me check my shit. I was talking to whatchamacallit yesterday in one of the spaces, man. I was talking to Broadway Joel. Shout out to Broadway Joel. I was talking to Broadway Joel yesterday, right, on a space on Twitter. And I told him that, like, look, Amanda started getting career high purses with Jake Paul, right? But her career high purses is literally the kind of money that Katie Taylor pays her opponents. Like, you talking about 6-figure purses, right? Well, that's what girls get to fight Katie Taylor. So your 6-figure purses ain't even what Katie getting. it's what her opponents get, because Katie, she been getting 7 figures. You know, they tried to keep a lid on it so that girls wouldn't act Hasidity whenever it's time to fight her, wouldn't start asking for crazy money. But it's a not so well kept secret that Katie makes 7 figures a fight, that she's making $1 million. What's goody, pull check, win, lose, or draw? I'm Team Katie all the way. I dig it. What's goody, LT in the building? Sophia in the building, Luis in the building, Oscar in the building, son. Batshit crazies in the building, son. You know, it's like, put it this way. On the face of it, you know, just outside looking in, it looks like one fighter is focused on the fight and the glory and the legacy, because for that fighter, money really isn't an object. So they're actually focused on the fight. Whereas the other fighter is more focused on the money than anything else. You can draw whatever inferences you want to draw based on those intangibles. You know, do you think that will affect performance? Do you think that has any bearing on how the fight will play out? You know, you can mull over those things and connect the dots, but that definitely seems to be the case, you know, because they asked Katie, like, yo, you know, when you thinking about retiring? And she was like, man, I don't be thinking about retiring. I don't be thinking about not fighting. Fighting is what I do. That's all I do. Whereas, you know, Amanda Serrano, she was on a podcast, and I used the clip of that podcast in the last video that I uploaded. And she says she only got 1 more year, because if they can't continue to pay her the kind of money that she bought to make, well, then she don't want to stick around. You know, she thinking about WWE and all of that. So, I mean, that already, that shows you where her head is at, yo. Oh, let me see. Mike Literis, who won the Fury fight? Yeah, I seen it. Yeah, I seen it. Like, dick riding is not a form of transportation. Then you should take your own advice. Don't dick ride Fury here. Like, what are you mad that people wanted White to win? People that you don't talk to, that don't talk to you? I never even seen that motherfucker before, to be real with y'all. And I keep up with who be in the chat. I don't know who that is. Ralph has Amanda winning the fight. Some people do. I think that what I see a lot of when it comes to Amanda and Katie, it's a lot of tribalism, which has a place in the sport of boxing. It actually does. Not everybody needs to know all the ins and outs and the resumes and all that shit. That's not necessary, because at the end of the day, casual fans bring in a revenue stream, and that's beneficial to the sport. The sport don't thrive if not for the casual fans. So for whatever reason, whatever gets eyes on the fight is good business. You know what I mean? That's why I don't really chastise a lot of the nationalism and the tribalism. I don't chastise it. I just don't bother with it either. That if your whole thing is, well, Amanda's Puerto Rican and I'm Puerto Rican, well, that's cool for you, you know, good for you. But I don't give a fuck about that. You know what I mean? Like, or Katie's Irish, so I'm Irish. I don't give a fuck about like that's cool. You know, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just that I cannot have a conversation with you about that. Like, what kind of like, what the fuck we going to talk about? In what way are we talking about the fight? All we talking about is who you got more in common with. So it's that kind of situation to where I can't really get down with the tribalism, even though, yeah, there's a place for it, because sports in general always have a degree of tribalism. And so long as it shows up economically in some way, shape, or form, be it purchasing a ticket or watching the fight by way of your DAZN subscription, it's all good for business. It's all good for business. And it's just like I said, I personally cannot have a conversation like that, because, all right, then if your whole thing is who do you have more in common with, then how the fuck are we even talking about a fight? We're not. We're not talking about a fight. We're not talking about statistics. You know, just what you know about the fighter and all these, you know, like, we're not talking about that if your whole thing is, well, she's Puerto Rican and I'm Puerto Rican, or she's from New York and I'm from New York, because I see that that's the logic that a lot of people got. Like, I seen it on Twitter, just under the comments of the posts. I seen a lot of that, and I'm like, you know, you can't knock nobody. You don't need some deep fucking knowledge. You don't need that. Like, if that's enough for you, that's enough for you. All I'm saying is I can't talk about the fight when that's the logic. Like, well, if your whole thing is just which flag they fly, then we don't need to talk. You know what I mean? Like, shit like that. Taylor gonna box Serrano's head off. I mean, look, this is the thing, these are just the factors that, what a lot of what I see with a lot of Amanda Serrano's fans are the ones that are backing her is they don't know nothing about who she fought, and they don't seem to know that much about Katie either, which is like, it is what it is. But what she's facing is somebody who is harder to hit clean than anybody she ever fought, and somebody with better feet, a way better amateur pedigree, obviously, and a more proven fighter than anybody she's ever fought. Like, yeah, Katie might have debuted in 2016, well after Amanda debuted, but Katie has proven a lot from 2016 till now. She's fought a lot of different fighters. They got a lot of different base styles. Some of them are bigger punchers than others. Some of them got different attributes. She's been in there with southpaws. Tasha Jonas, she's a southpaw. Nina Menke, she's a southpaw. She's seen a lot of things from 2016 till now. So you dealing with somebody that, yeah, they showed that they with the shit, you know what I mean? So that's really what makes it a fascinating fight for me. Amanda has a very pleasing style to the eye. It's not hard to interpret. It's not hard to understand. The jab is good. The straight is good. The punches are clean. The body work is nice. It's a very nice style to watch. It's that I never lose sight of that works against so-and-so. That works against Mercado, who moved up from 122 to 126. That works against Gutierrez, who, God bless Gutierrez, but come on now, like, she ain't got feet like she ain't got feet like a lot of girls, you know what I mean? Like, nothing wrong, nothing bad, but does Katie have more power than Bermudez? This is the funny part. You always hear about Amanda's power, but Katie dropped Gutierrez. Amanda did not. That's facts. Katie dropped Gutierrez. Amanda did not. I would not say that Katie Taylor is a power puncher. That she's like, I would say Natasha Jonas has a bigger punch than Katie Taylor, and it's noticeable that if Natasha lands clean, she could really fucking hurt you, take you out your shit. So in terms of power, no, I don't consider Katie a power puncher, but she's not feather-fisted either. That she's in that place where there's enough power there to get the girl's attention. There's even enough power there that if she hits you with something you don't see, you're going to go down. It's happened more than once, but she never gets credit for it. There's this thing with fighters that are doing well that people like to tear them down. It's noticeable. Katie Taylor's one of these fighters that because she's getting good money and because she's undisputed, people take that as a pass to try to take the piss, try to be assholes, when in reality, she's a damn good boxer, and you just don't want to give her credit because of other things. Other things. I ain't even going to say what they are, because this ain't that kind of channel. Yeah, it's a post on the Top Rank page. It says it's for a world title. I don't know what y'all talking about. It's a lot of people, they think, it's like they see a fighter or athlete is doing well, and they think, oh, well, I could shit on them because they doing well. Well, that's, you know what it is? It's because you identify with being a B-side. You identify with being less than. If you always look at somebody that's doing well, and your first instinct, oh, I'm going to hate on them, all right, that's because you used to be in a B-side. You know what I mean? That's what that is. Because there's no reason to hate on them. There's not a real reason to do that. You know what I mean? Paul Check feels that Katie will win 8 rounds to 4. I want to get some guys on the panel. I'm not going to have 10 people up here. So if it's 10 people backstage, some of y'all just going to stay backstage. And I want to just get some thoughts on the fight. I want to get some thoughts on the Valdez-Stevenson fight. My mind is really made up on that. That's why you don't really hear me saying a lot about that. My mind's been made up on that for a while now, so I don't have a lot of new thoughts to add. I'll give you a refresher of what I think the day before the fight, or Thursday. I'll probably give a refresher. But other than that, I don't got much to say about that shit. What's good, Drew?
What's happening?
Yo, man, motherfuckers told me you got guys on Twitter, right? They literally trying to lie about what the Spence versus Ugas fight there, right? and what they trying to say is that it did 300.
Not even that. You know what made me laugh, that whole situation, Jules? First they scaled down the tickets, then they slashed the ticket prices, and then they bragging that Espinoza went to that one suite to go talk to boxing Twitter people, and now now they got numbers out now. Come on, bro. What happened to the numbers with all the other pay-per-views on the tank fights? All of a sudden they go put Arrow's numbers out? Come on.
Now listen, I mean, look, this is reality. The number that's out right now is out by way of Dan Raphael and Lance Pugmire and their sources. And that number is not 300,000. You got to look at the verbiage. If it was 240, Lance would have said it's 240. He said 240-ish. I'm not fucking stupid, all right? It's not fucking 240. It's, like let's cut the crap. But what I guess what makes it a talking point for me is how the fuck could you be so emotionally invested that you need to exaggerate and embellish? It's like, bro, it's not your money. It's not your pay-per-view buys. What is it? Do you feel silly that he's not performing better? Is that what it is? Because that's how it looks. Do you feel silly that he can't crack 300,000 buys?
I'll tell you what it is, though, Jules. My therapist today told me, like, I'm hitting like 200K a year. I want to go to 500. She's like, well, you know what that requires, right? That requires more tunnel vision, more sacrifice, more work. Yeah. And dudes that be living vicariously through these blown up pay-per-view numbers, they need something to be happy about because they're not happy about their position in life.
Let me say this. I'm glad you said, see, the Capricorn mind, son, right? You said that, right? This is, I'm glad you said that because that's how I be feeling like, yo, I don't got time to do all this extra shit. I'm focused on what the fuck I'm doing and what the fuck I'm doing. People got to tell me that someone is saying something bad about me because I'm just doing my thing. You feel me? Like, I ain't worried about, like, people send me screenshots all the time of Joe Blow saying this or this person saying that or this person. Like, yo, I don't be paying attention to none of that shit. Motherfucker got to stop me and tell me that because I'm just doing my thing, B. I ain't worried about none of that shit. I ain't worried about who the fuck made a video or who said it. Like, I don't care. Like that shit when motherfuckers was dead ass mad because I spelled talk, T-A-W-K, not realizing, bro, I've been doing that shit for years, bro. You think you invented that shit? I'm focusing on what the fuck I'm doing. Tunnel vision. Focus on your fucking goals, man. Fuck everybody. Focus on your goals. That's how you get shit done. That's how you get somewhere. Focus on what the fuck you want to do and then do it.
Hey, Julius.
Hey, what's up,
Leo?
Look, I don't really care about the Errol Spence pay-per-view numbers or even Canelo pay-per-view numbers because it's their money. It's not my money. I am doing my thing, and okay, if you're doing good, I think Errol Spence is at a point that he can say, okay, I'm making money. I'm making money. No, it's not like a TV network is giving me the money. People are paying me to see me fight. That's good. But I get a little bit not upset, but it's weird, like how easily they use the term star. Errol Spence pay-per-view star. What is Canelo? A super duper hyper mega pay-per-view star?
Leo, entonces.
And we get Leo cussing. You know Leo hardly ever cuss.
I know, man. That's a rarity in itself.
This is, I want to say this too, though, because see, when we talk about, like, I think that I see what they do, and I think that they're trying to mirror the things that they see other people do, lacking the context. For example, if me and Country, or me and Drew, or me and Leo are talking about pay-per-view numbers, it's not for the sake of talking about pay-per-view numbers. It's not even really about that. It's about what effect it will have on what fights we can expect. When we talk TV ratings, we're literally like, I don't give a shit if it did well or if it didn't do well. It's that, okay, if the pay-per-view doesn't do good, this is going to happen. If it does do good, this is going to happen. That's the context of the conversation. Whereas you see people on different social media platforms it looked like they trying to have that conversation out. Like, yo, you don't know what the fuck we even talking about this shit for.
Right.
Like,
We're just using
every
numbers
time
to
we talk
speculate.
about that, it's a direct correlation to the livelihood of the whole sport.
Right.
How
We're
does this
gauging,
affect
Thank
every
you.
sport?
Thank
we're,
you.
we're
Because
gauging it by the numbers, you know, but we're not, you know, it's all speculation whether it's good or bad.
But
You know,
see, like this is an example, country. A lot of times I would talk about the Fox numbers, whether it was a pay-per-view or a regular Fox fight. And I wasn't talking about the numbers just to take the piss, even though it is fucking funny to me. Like, I'm not going to act like it's not fucking funny. It is funny at times. But I was talking about the numbers. Why? Because I want to see if Fox is going to stay in boxing. So when I see what the numbers are, right, I'm like, yo, I just don't get the sense that they're going to stay in boxing. That's the point. To see how things are performing, to see what effect it will have based on how it performs.
It's gauging it, you know, and you can tell by the numbers that what might happen, what might not, you know.
That's the whole fucking point of that's the whole point of talking about pay-per-view buys or talking about TV ratings. It's not to live vicariously through fucking Canelo or through Joe. No, it's to see what effect it's going to have. That's what the conversation is.
Exactly. And like, take for example, Valdez versus Stevenson. I'm going to be disappointed if the number is under 1 million for a Mexican and a young star, Keyshawn Davis on the undercard. This is the future. I want to see it do good.
Look, for what it's worth, I think that the fight will do well because this is not, you know, our father's era of boxing to where you can only see one. You could watch. I'm gonna have both on. Like, bro, I'm gonna have both on. It ain't nothing. Like, that's light, bro. Watching two fights at the same time. If you see my setup, it's gonna look like some Batman shit. Like, that ain't shit. Two, the fights is happening on different time zones anyway. Taylor versus Serrano is East Coast. Motherfucking Valdez Stevenson, what's that? In Nevada?
It's a that's I feel confident enough, Jules, even with Taylor Serrano going on. Valdez Stevenson with the fan base and boxing, that should still be able to get 1 million easy, even with another fight.
Like, I think that I feel like a good chunk of people they're gonna be watching both sides. This is how I feel because this is not no old ass era of boxing to where you only got one way to watch a fight. You got 1 million fucking ways to watch a fight. You can watch one on your phone, one on your tablet, one on your laptop, and one on your TV, all at the same motherfucking time. That's why when they started that either or shit, I'm like, yo, is these motherfuckers living under a rock? You can watch plenty of fights at the same time. You ain't got to choose. You can watch plenty of shit at the same time too, because they're not in the same time zone. I don't really think it matters, but you know, that's just motherfuckers being petty. I don't understand that shit. Shout out to Cesar Nava who says, "Saludos, Jules. Chat, love your channel, bro. Keep up the great work. Rooting for Taylor to win versus Serrano, but may the best fighter win. By the way, your relay intros are fire. Thank you. I appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that."
Julius, una preguntita.
Go ahead.
Does anyone here on the panel or anywhere have a real insight or the demographic that watch boxing in the United States of America?
A real insight?
Yeah, like age, socioeconomical level, things like that.
I think Leo. I think it's a mixed bag because look at the panel. Look at our age group. Look at our. It's a mixed bag. Like I think that a lot of guys that watch boxing for the most part, they're at or around either like 35 to 50 because you know we've been keeping up with the sport. But it's a mixed bag because you got young guys that watch it too, though. You do got some young guys that watch it.
You know what? When I went to a local boxing match up here, it was the same thing. The audience was a mixed bag.
Wait. But like you say, Julius, who are the guys that matter? The guys who pay.
Lo viejo como nosotros.
And I know what you're trying to say, Leo. Like, for example, I got turned on to boxing because of my pops and my granddad. Growing up they grew up around LA, California, the old Forum days in the 80s and 90s, watching boxing. The dudes that really support boxing in this country, it's a generational thing where they're actually spending money. Like I see the same going to the fights last year, I seen the same kind of guys around the ringside, around where my seats are. It's people that follow more than one division, follow more than one fighter, follow more than one outfit. I go to top ranked cards, Matchroom, Golden Boy, PBC.
But let me say this. Let me say this because I wanted to do a video about this and I didn't get the chance to do it because there was just mad shit happening. Forbes magazine printed an article that there's actually an uptick in viewership, that it's picking up. And I noticed it when I saw two skinny little social media influencers put on boxing gloves. You know, they look terrible, but I'm seeing more and more of that. Yeah, they looked awful, bro. They looked awful. But
see, like I got introduced to boxing in the 70s when I was a little kid. I watched Ali, Foreman, and Frazier.
I'm an island boy.
On TV, man. And
I got introduced like in the early.
I was hooked ever since, you know, and I've stuck with it since then until now.
I started off late. I started like in 2010 when like Canelo was coming up. Canelo really was like the one that got me into boxing.
Yeah, but what I'm seeing now, you know, I read the article and it's saying, and I did notice it though on social media that people that you wouldn't expect, like I didn't know John Cusack was a big boxing fan, but he tweeted earlier. He tweeted earlier about Tyson Fury. Turns out, yeah, he's a boxing fan. I knew Dave Chappelle was a big boxing fan. That he really followed the sport. A lot of celebrities seem to be following it now. You're seeing more and more of that. They're talking about the fights. I think indirectly, when you see someone from the UFC who's doing well or is supposed to be doing well, like a Francis Ngannou, people are eventually seeing like, yo, what, you guys got to go to boxing to make money. That's what it looked like, because that's what fucking Conor did, right? That's what Francis Ngannou want to do. Everywhere you look now, they put in his purse for a UFC fight, and then they put the $33 million that Tyson Fury made for Dillian fucking White.
Yeah, but that subject is a little bit sketchy because it's not like, let's take for example UFC. It's not like UFC is not making money.
They are
money.
They're making money. Yeah.
Dana is taking all of them.
No, they are. But you know what I see? I see that there's a hybrid, and me and Drew talked about this a few months ago. Hybrid fans that were like, what is this childish shit of UFC versus boxing? What is that? You can watch both.
Right.
Who the fuck's like you? What, you can't watch baseball and football? Can't watch basketball and fucking hockey? Says who?
Yeah, you watch whatever you want, man.
Watch whatever the fuck you want. Like as long as you like watching people fighting, like me for example. If I get bored, I might YouTube some cats fighting on the roof.
I got one for you guys, man. Buster Douglas and Tyson, man. I was home watching the fight. And I was late for work. I got to my job, man, and I told my boss I was late because of traffic. He goes, "Yeah, sure. Was that before or after the fight?"
Hey, because you knew then. Everybody knew then. If Tyson's fighting, if Mike is fighting, we got to stop and watch because if we blink, we might miss it.
Yeah,
and here's the thing too. Being here in LA,
when he got knocked that night, man, it was like, oh my god, you know, it was like watching Godzilla fall, you know.
Bro, it was
here in LA,
to this
brother.
day. I feel that shit, yo. To this day, I feel that shit.
Yeah,
being here in LA, you see how many celebrities really watch boxing. I don't know if you guys know who Peter Berg is.
I know Peter Berg, the actor.
He runs a gym in a real boxing gym in Santa Monica. He's the owner.
Bro, he real cool. Bro, I know he real cool with Regis Prograis. I seen all the pictures. Look,
you'll see a lot of celebs at club shows out here. It's just the problem is, because the fighters aren't active enough, the machine of Hollywood can't get behind them like they can the UFC, where they can also. The problem with the UFC is big Hollywood players and actors, they're owning stock in Endeavor, the parent company. So they're happy that the company's making money. They don't give a fuck if the fighters are getting paid because the shareholders are happy.
Well, the other thing is too that the West Coast is more of a fight. Like the whole of the West Coast, if you think about it, is fight oriented. You know, like there's a lot of gyms over there. Big Bear's over there. Wild Cards over there. You know what I mean? Coachella. It's gyms in Coachella. If you compare the East Coast boxing scene to the West Coast boxing scene, it's not even a contest. Like, it's not.
I'll go
I
even
remember
further,
they were
Jules.
away with
It's the
Stapleton.
combat sports scene over here because the AKA guys of Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier, Khabib, they train in California. The Brazilian guys of Anderson Silva and all those Nogueira and all them cats, they train in LA. So it's a double of MMA and boxing out here.
But let's just be honest about this shit. Like, I need to be honest about this shit, and all of y'all gonna agree with me. The joints in LA look better.
You gotta you're
Fucking
what I,
truth,
you're,
bro.
I don't know about that.
you're pinpointing on it, Jules, because I've been out on the East Coast. The culture of like body fitness and looking good
Yes.
in your body is more popular out here. So people tend to go to boxing classes,
People
kickboxing,
tend to go to
Krav
boxing,
Maga, MMA classes.
but
They
not,
actually
not even limited to combat. Just in general, the culture of health and fitness and taking care of yourself really is more of a thing on the West Coast than on the East Coast. On the East Coast, motherfuckers is too worried about some other shit. It's a lot of look. It's a lot of bum bitches on the East Coast. Let's just stop. Let's be honest with each other. It's a lot of bum ass bitches on the East Coast. Forget Florida. Like, yeah, Florida hot, but it's a lot of bitches on meth in Florida too.
Now, I tell you like this.
Never on in Florida.
You could have your
Live
dad
Dallas,
bod,
bro.
but every day
You
you
live
go
in
into the
Dallas?
beach and you see the bad ones run, you're like, fuck that, I gotta get in the gym.
Bro, like, remember Baywatch? Pamela Anderson, Nicole Edgar. You had David Hasselhoff riding a speedboat. All of that was on the West Coast, bro.
Yep.
The
You
West
gotta
Coast is like
understand,
the Brazil of America. The West Coast is like the Brazil of the United States.
it
Man,
is
I got
because
on a nutrition plan myself, dude. I'm already down 12 pounds.
there you go.
There you go.
Because like LA specifically, all the bad bitches all over the world, they want to come to LA to see if they really that bitch. So you get an influx constantly of beautiful women over here.
Listen, bro.
You ain't lying.
Everybody know that a 10 anywhere else is a 5 in LA. And that's real rap. That's real facts. The only place on earth that got better joints is probably Italy or Greece or some exotic fucking shit. Santorini or some just fucking exotic island somewhere.
Russia.
Colombia.
Nah, beat it. Yo,
Yeah.
bro, them bitches age like avocados, bro.
The Colombians?
He said they age like
No, la
crazy.
colombiana, la rusa.
Bro, Colombians have the best Spanish accent, bro. Like Colombian girls with that accent, bro.
Nah, la Argentina.
Hermosas escuchan.
Nah, te voy a decir, la Argentina me gustan porque se oye como italiana en que están hablando español.
Bueno, es que yo casi no he hablado con argentinas, bro.
No la verdad.
I speak to many Argentinians. I don't think I ever met one.
They don't really, like, I haven't seen a pocket like, you know, there's all kinds of things in New York. I've never seen a pocket of Argentines in New York. I never seen that. You know what I mean? I've seen everything else.
America in general.
Verdad.
They're mostly out here on the West Coast because I ran into a lot of them when I went to school with.
Oh, the Vegas, bro? Shit, I'm moving to the West Coast then.
They're
You won't regret it, man.
Yeah.
Let me read the super chat. I don't care for the circus act events, YouTubers, boxing, or two celebs, cool. But a UFC fighter calling out a boxer or vice versa is ridiculous. It wouldn't be fair either way they try to do the fight. Well, that's because look, as educated fight fans, we all know it's pure farce because it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of time and a lot of muscle memory just to get to the elite level. So you got an elite level boxer and what's supposed to be an elite level mixed martial artist. There is no middle ground. There's no middle ground. The muscle memory you need to be a good boxer is not the same as what you need to be a mixed martial artist. And we understand that because we follow the sport closely enough to know that no, if you're really going to make it, it takes time and years and fights and just doing the same shit over and over again for an extended amount of time. It doesn't just happen overnight. You could change the rules a little bit, but it's not going to, it's just like, come on, be like, we know what time it is. At the end of the day, those novelty fights are a little more than cash grabs. And that's why guys like us, we don't gravitate towards them because it's like, bro, come on.
I watch it. The circus is fun, but those kind of fights have been going on fucking when men were fighting lions, when fucking circus ass fights, all that shit. It's a part of the combat sport, the crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's tantamount to it's like when we talk about the casual fan. As much as we might call someone a casual in an insulting context, even the casual has his place in the sport because they bring money. Tribalism, as much as I keep it away from this channel, right? It does have a place in the sport. Rooting for the home team, rooting for the nation. Yeah, it has a place. It all equates to revenue, but there's a time and a place for it. If we're going to actually have a conversation about the sport or a conversation about two fighters, that's when you got to take your nationalism, put it in your pocket, bro, because I don't care how close you lived to so and so's house. What the fuck am I going to do with that information, bro?
Because
And
the apex of the sport, the highest elite of the elite, transcends all those fucking things you're talking about, Jules. At
Man,
the end
who's
of the day,
snoring?
we just want to see the best fights that create memories, and it doesn't matter where they from or what they look like.
Yeah, I mean, real shit. Like, at the end of the day, motherfuckers just want to see two motherfuckers punch each other. You know, I don't even want to make it super complex, but that's what it's all about. And that's how I became a fan of the girls fighting. Because at the end of the day, if you leave in a club and it's two joints getting it on in the street, what you telling me? You not going to stop and watch? Because it's two. No, you going to watch. You going to wait for a titty to pop out. But that's the point.
Hey, Jules, you're right about
now. You're
tribalism.
always expecting a titty to pop out when you see two joints fighting.
That was the way it was. Listen, that was the way it was in school. When the joints get it on, something gonna pop out. So I'm like, when I be seeing dudes really like turning I'm like, yo, I don't know what fool neighborhood or whatever you from, but like people get it on, man. Squirrels fight, cats fight, girls fight, guys fight. Everybody get down, B. Everybody get down. So don't tell. I don't watch it. All right, then don't watch that shit. Just don't bother me when I'm watching that shit.
And that's why I have preference for dirty shit. Elbow him, punch him in the dick.
Why not?
You're right about one thing, man. Tribalism exists because I saw this one dude on Twitter. His brother had an account, and in his description, he wrote, "I am biased towards black fighters."
Well, I mean, look. This is the thing.
It's honest, but it was like, wow.
Look. This is the thing, right? If I see that, right, I'm not going to say nothing because that's that person's prerogative. It's just don't talk to me because I don't have nothing to say to you, bro. Everything you say is going to be motivated by your butt. Yo, who doing that? Is that Alexis snoring?
Somebody's snoring, man.
That's Alexis snoring, B. I thought that was Leo.
No, it ain't Leo.
I'm awake.
Yeah, like I can't, like, if you say, "Oh, I'm biased towards all New Yorkers," well, awesome, bro. We ain't got nothing to talk about though. I'm biased towards all Texans. Great, but we ain't got nothing to talk about there because no matter what I say, you're biased towards all Texans. So we don't need to talk, bro. We don't need to mince words. What we gonna talk about? You gonna big up Texas, right? Hey, that's what I already know what you're gonna say.
Exactly.
And what I never noticed about the women's division, but thanks to my good man here, Jules, is how beautiful all these women are, man. Like, there's this, most of the women that are boxing, they're freaking gorgeous, bro. I wasn't paying too much attention to the division, but once I started paying attention to it, I noticed it.
But that's see, and I try to approach it respectfully without, but it's like it's like if you got to use your brain. Like, yeah, everything is an angle. You selling a product, whatever draws eyes, whatever draws ears, whatever gets people talking, it's good for the sport. So when I seen, like, for example, the Ebony Bridges shit, which was a big conversation, it's like, I don't know why y'all hating on that woman. It don't make sense to hate on, like, it don't make sense. Lady, take care of herself. Why y'all hating? I know why y'all hating. Because y'all can't do that. The ones that's hating, you can't do that, so you're going to be a hater. I dig it. Just go wear a paper bag or whatever and be a hater, yo.
The haters are, you can't do that, and the dudes hating is, you can't pull that.
Exactly. It's because it's some weird shit to me. Like, I'm like, bro, I don't give a shit. If it's motherfuckers fighting, like I said, sometimes you might see me, like, my wife will catch me watching videos of cats fighting each other just because it's a good ass fight. Like, yeah, it's a good ass fight. Why not? I'm gonna watch that.
Funny thing about that, the ref in the Fury White fight denied us of a good fight because that dirty shit was gonna go down, and that fight was gonna get real scrappy and ugly, and the ref kept fucking it up.
He did, but at the same time, it's like you could see. I felt by round 3, White is outclassed. That was the feeling I had watching the shit. They're like, yo, this dude is coming up short of answers, and if he's not the kind of fighter that makes adjustments. I figured he gonna come out, he gonna go ape shit, because that's his best chance. You're not winning no boxing match with Fury. Your best chance is to come out and go fucking crazy, bro. But it didn't happen. I feel bad for that dude because it's like, yeah, he worked hard, bro. He waited a long time for that opportunity just to not even make it out of the midway point. That gotta hurt.
And that's the thing, though. He knew to win that fight, you had to fight dirty, bro.
Yeah.
You had to do all that wild, borderline disqualification shit. The problem is, I think White was a little surprised that the Gypsy was ready to play that game too. Tyson was doing that dirty shit too.
But look, this is why when motherfuckers complain about shit like that, I'm always taken back by like, yo, all these cats do something. Like Mayweather used to put his elbow in people's neck and all of that. Like it's nothing new. It's nothing new, bro.
That's how you know they never really been in a fight in the street.
What you don't do that. What kind of fight you think this is, fam? All these motherfucking rules. Like what? Punch him in his dick. If the ref ain't looking, punch him in the dick. God damn it. Hit him below.
How many times did Floyd slide that elbow in after a jab when he threw the cross?
That's why, and that's why when I seen people chastising Butaev, I was like, yo, y'all don't make no sense. Yeah, it's dirty to hold a dude head down, but you know what else is dirty? It's dirty to come in low and then try to hit him with your head, the top of your head, when you trying to close the gap. That's some dirty shit too. Holyfield used to do that. Like, the fuck? Like, just let these motherfuckers fight. That's all I'm saying. Long as he ain't kicking him in the dick, let him punch him in the dick. The fuck? It's just fun.
Isn't that when Mike bit his ear off because he kept headbutting him?
That's exactly why. But Holyfield was a master.
That was crazy.
He was a master at making it look accidental. That's what he was a master. He would like he'll do it in a way where it don't look like you doing it on purpose, but because it always happened with you, we know it's happening on purpose because it always happened with you.
Holyfield's inside game is so underrated.
Oh yeah, man, he's a great counterpuncher. Shout out to Carlos Valenciano. I appreciate that. And yeah, man, it's fucked up for White, but I said it in the video I just did that like at the end of the day, he could rebound, but he gotta know his role. And his role right now is not fighting for a title. It's not gonna happen, bro. What you can be is the dude that beat the fuck out of everybody else. You could be that. Like maybe you get a Daniel Dubois fight. You know what I mean? Maybe you get Joe Joyce if he beat Parker. You got to be willing to do that for the bread because that's where the bread is at. As unfortunately for you, you just don't have the eliticism for the titles. Like you don't have it. He don't have it. Like it's fucked up, but you don't have it, bro. I don't think you beat Joshua. I definitely don't think you beat Usyk. You tried it with Fury. See how that worked out.
Yeah.
Most he could do is fight everybody else. You still got a name, depending on who's opposite the ring. Like, I think it's a lot of money waiting for him at Sky Sports because Sky needs faces and Sky needs names. You negotiate the right deal, the right kind of deal for the right kind of fights. You still get some paper, bro. Look, Derek out here with like 11 fucking losses, bro, but he still be getting money.
Derek is the Nate Diaz of boxing.
Real
Double-digit losses, still getting 7-figure paydays.
That's the perfect.
Because the fans want to see him still.
That's the perfect parallel. Like I couldn't have said it better. Like, yeah, if you willing to do what you got to do, it's money out here. But if you start acting like a superstar, see, like, look at Wilder, right? Think about the situation. And this is how huge the ego is. You only have 2 losses on record. They're both to the same guy. In that way, you can come back from this if you right up here. But your ego was so big that you can't get over. You can't get over that. Like, yo, you only lost to one guy, bro. One guy. That's it. You could come back from that and get this money. But that shit broke you. Derek and Dillian, I think they got a similar mindset. Like, you know what? Say, win some, lose some, I'll be back. side.
Hey, Jules, somebody better catch Big Baby Anderson now before he faces that problem that Virgil and Boots are at 47. Because in 2-3 years, no one's going to want to fight him if he ain't bringing them a bag.
Yeah, but the saving grace for him is he's with a great outfit that has the ability to get him fights. Like, you can't freeze Jared Anderson out, in other words. It's not that same situation that we see at other weights. You can't freeze out a heavyweight. There's too many heavyweights that need fights and too many guys that are serviceable. Like, for example, if you told me tomorrow Jared Anderson versus Gassiev, you better believe I'm going to watch that fight.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it's too many guys that you can make a fight with. Like, the heavyweight division, I hate when I see people say this, that, oh, it's not deep. No, it's a lot of guys from all over the world in the heavyweight division. You could make a fight. It's a lot of fights that can be made. So even though he's going to be a hot potato, I feel you, there's still a lot of fights out there for him. Like, imagine Anderson versus Dubois. Oh, my God.
Oh, that
Down
would
the
be
line. Down the line.
Jules?
Yeah.
Hey, Jules.
Mm.
What you said about Wilder's mindset totally backs up a point I've been making on your channel for a while about how these modern day fighters act like their career is over just because they lose their O.
Yeah.
You know?
If Muhammad Ali had that mindset, he wouldn't go on to be the GOAT. Remember, he comes back from the exile. His legs ain't what they used to be. Loses to Joe Frazier.
Yep.
These guys don't, and that is why they're viewed. That's why I view those fighters as with a reverence that I don't have for some of these young guys. They're like, are you wilding, bro? If that would have been one of these young guys in that situation, psychologically, they wouldn't have been able to handle that shit. Look at Wilder. You lost 2 fights, but it was the one guy. Look at Manny and how many. Look at Manny, more contemporary. Look at how many fights Manny lost. Still get out there and get it on like nothing happened. Still get out there and get it on.
And
The
that's
worst
the
part
American
is,
fighters.
those fighters with those kind of mindsets, it actually carries over to some of their fans too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous.
More, it's not even that. It's not that it carries over. Those fans identify with that because they recognize it. They recognize that in themselves. Like, people gravitate towards the shit that's familiar to them. When you see the bitch assness, right, of the Benavidez and Charlo situation. If you see anybody defending Charlo, that means that it's some bitch assness in you, because that shit cannot be defended. What's going on in that situation? That bitch assness. So if you defending bitch ass shit, well, it speaks for itself. You know what I mean? You a boxing fan. You supposed to want boxing matches, not what's best for him. And no, you supposed to want to see that. And if you don't want to see that,
It goes to the saying, like, you look at all the elite athletes in all the sports. Even Kobe's like, losing sucks, but it built the fire in me to get that back.
Yeah.
That used to be the sport. I mean, it's still a sport. It's still that energy in boxing, but it's the American fighters and the American fans that put the emphasis on the O more than other guys in other countries.
And we've had that conversation a million times. Just what motivated that way of thinking, because obviously it wasn't always that way. And with the Fury thing, that's kind of coming back.
Well, that's my question. Where did it change?
Well, it changed with Floyd. We know that. And it's like, I get why people, I get it. Like, yeah, that's dope if you can do that. If you can do it, facing who you need to face. Because, yeah, he retired unbeaten, but he did fight Manny. It took a long time, but it's a two-way street. There's blame on both sides, in a nutshell.
Right.
The thing with Fury is, like, this guy's 33. He's at the peak. He's at the pinnacle. He's the most popular now he's ever been. His performance, you see what he did to White. He made it look easy. Why would his fans want him to leave? You know what I mean? If that's your man and he's doing great, 33 is far from old for a heavyweight. Like, that's you young for a heavyweight. I see Fury's fans urging him, some of them, to retire. And I'm like, why would you want him to retire without fighting the winner of Joshua versus Usyk? That fight is going to go on this summer. That fight is gonna. He don't have no mandatory. He can wait. Why y'all want him to leave? I know why. So you can
We
hold
both
it.
know. We know why. It's parallels with his fans and Floyd's, because after Floyd got the mantle from Roy, Floyd couldn't do what Roy did in the ring.
No.
We loved watching Roy. And Roy had to go all the way up to heavyweight to challenge himself, and Roy was just, nobody could do what Roy did in the ring. So Floyd had to figure out a way to separate himself to get the buzz, because he couldn't duplicate Roy. Nobody could.
Well, look, I don't want to sound like I don't want to be fucked up when I say that. Like, look, Floyd ganked a lot of people by making them think that everybody was just paying to see him. Listen, bro, Canelo had fans. That's why you fought him. The fuck are we doing here? What? Because Canelo didn't have fans? He had fans, bro. And Floyd said it himself. He fight guys that got a country behind them. You fighting guys that already have a following, because you understand it takes two big fans, two big sets of fans to have a super fight. You understood that. Cotto had the Puerto Ricans, you know what I mean? Manny had the Filipinos and many of the Americans. Canelo had the Mexican fans. So when we talk about the numbers for, the one, that was the name of the Mayweather versus Canelo pay-per-view. What kills me is that people act like everybody that bought it was for Floyd. No. Canelo had fans.
Nah,
If
that
that was
fight was
the case,
buzzing because of
if that was
Canelo,
the case,
too.
it would have been on Juneteenth and not Cinco de Mayo.
But see, this is the thing. It's obvious things like that these young guys love to bring up Floyd that they wasn't around for none of, like, y'all young ass motherfuckers wasn't even watching boxing around that time. I'm not knocking Floyd because he emerged the victor. I'm just saying that it was a method and it was obvious. All right.
Oh,
And like
method.
you just said it, Jules, they just started watching boxing with Floyd. They don't even know about Roy.
Bro, like, we may as well be talking about fucking Ben Franklin to them if we bring up Roy. Like, I literally brought up that, a dude said Canelo can't be pound for pound. Literally, this was 3 months ago. A guy on Twitter said that Canelo can't be pound for pound number one because of the clenbuterol. And I told him, well, you don't make no motherfucking sense, because Roy was consensus number one, and he tested positive for a banned substance in 2001. It's like, oh, you had to go all the way. Like, what you mean all the way? 2001, bro. It wasn't that long ago. It might seem long to you because you just some young motherfucker. Some young motherfucker that don't know what you're talking about. Fuck out of here with that shit, man. All I'm saying is, yes, Floyd was associated with the biggest fights that performed the biggest, put up the best pay-per-view buys in the sport of boxing. But if you think he's the only one that sold it, you're lying to yourself.
right.
I mean, literally, what Maypac was successful. Pacquiao had nothing to do with that. His fans, his fanatics. Do you remember Pacquiao's fans? You couldn't shut them the fuck up.
And Jules, the only fight Floyd had with another American fighter that did 1 million buys was Mosley. And Mosley had fans from the De La Hoya fights.
The main thing,
Mosley had fans.
The point I'm making is that they act as if it's Floyd. See, and people aren't going to like this. They're going to probably call me a Canelo fanboy. Plant did not have nothing to do with that 800,000, bro. That could have been a house plant Canelo was fighting. It still would have did 800,000.
House plant.
But
Sí,
see,
bro, no, sí. Tienes razón.
that's the difference between what I'm seeing from Canelo and what I'm seeing with Floyd. Floyd had great numbers, but it's because you had great dance partners to help you sell those fights. Cotto had a lot of Puerto Ricans behind him. We all fucking know that. Canelo had a lot of fans. Pacquiao had a lot of fans. Even Shane. You did 1 million pay-per-view buys with Shane because people knew Shane. They knew him from the De La Hoya fights and all of that shit. All right? You had dance partners with profile. Canelo was out here selling these. Exactly. Exactly.
He was Conor McGregor was freaking huge ass stuff, man.
When they went to Canada, it wasn't no Floyd Mayweather fans at that presser, bro.
Nope.
That was all McGregor fans in Canada. All of them. All right?
I'll go even further. There you go, right on top. When Floyd fought Berto is way more of the equivalent to Plant, and they did what? 400,000.
330.
I heard it was like 600.
No, it was
It was-
330.
Net, and they
And people don't
promoted that.
realize
They
Canelo's
promoted
star
that
got
fight
bigger.
heavily. That's his
Canelo
last
got
fight.
Canelo's gotten more popular after the Golovkin fights. You see it speaking English. He's at the golf tournaments with all these NBA, NFL stars.
Well,
Like he's gotten more popular.
It's look, you got a guy Billy Joe Saunders, right? This is not even for the undisputed. This is just a unification match. You had 73,000 fucking people show up. And you got morons and nobody watches the zone. Then how the fuck did they know he was fighting? You know what I mean? Like it's stupid shit like this. I'm like, he broke the indoor attendance record with a dude that don't have no following in America. No following. All right? 73,000 people is a lot of fucking people, bro. And you saying nobody watches the zone. And I'm like, y'all, the shit y'all saying don't make sense. That's all I'm saying. If nobody watches that shit and nobody knows about the shit, how the fuck did 73,000 people know about this fight? To go to the fight?
The most fans Saunders had in that fight, because there were British fights, British flags in the crowd, but the most fans he had in there was probably like 5 to 10,000. The most.
It wasn't Ricky Hatton. It wasn't Ricky Hatton, Floyd Mayweather. Let's put it that. They didn't invade the motherfucker.
And I didn't even you know why? And imagine if the travel ban had been lifted. It'd have been 100,000 in Dallas Stadium.
Yep.
Yeah, because a lot of British fans would have gone. Like British people that lived in America, they went because there were some British flags in the crowd.
They support their boxers, man. They're not like here, man. They actually they're serious about their sport.
Again, who was the loudest fans at Floyd versus Hatton? They took
exactly. Exactly. Let me read the super chat. Fury fans are just Spence fans and what?
Oh man.
Canelo is the face of boxing because people forget he has been a pro for over half his life, which is actually true. He's been boxing since he's 15 and he's 31. Half of that man's life has been spent in the ring. So that's saying a lot. But also it's jealousy. It's like, look, man, he the face of boxing today. Tomorrow it'll be somebody else, you know, because that's the way it goes, and we all know that. So enjoy the motherfucker while he here, because the fighters you like, they don't want to go to light heavyweight. What he just said, he want to become undisputed at light heavyweight. He literally just said that. I'm like, what more do you want than a fighter that's willing to do that? Because the fucking guys that you fuck with, they don't want to, they dare not. Don't talk to them about a better beef. They too scared of a Benavidez, let alone a better beef.
Now, let me ask you this.
You're too scared of Andre.
Let me ask you this. Canelo said, okay, I got about another 5 to 7 years. Let's say it's just 4. Who's going to take the throne from him? Is there anybody that could take that throne from him while he's still fighting?
We don't have that answer right now because nobody shows the promise to do it. We have to wait because it's kind of looking like when Canelo's approaching the end, there's going to be a transitional period where there isn't a star. Nobody has not right now. It could end up being Shakur because he has the skills, but does he have the entertainment value? That's a separate question. It could be Keyshawn Davis, but it's too soon to tell because it's like, yo, it's really, really the beginning for him. We don't know. I don't think it's Ryan. Like, I'll say that fucking shit. Like, nah, Ryan, like, it ain't gonna be him. Let's say that. I don't see who the next star is going to be.
I think the has
Posiblemente, pero también it's like it's early for Xander. Like there's certain questions and certain types of fights that every fighter gotta have. One of them is the acid test. Yo, can you take a punch? We gonna put you in here with somebody that hit hard, and we gonna see how you react. And that one, a lot of motherfuckers fail that one. You see what happened to Josh Kelly? They put him in there with Avanesian, bro. Avanesian lost the mean machine. So you was like just below world level. And at that time. And you see what he did to Josh Kelly, bro. He beat the shit out of him, bro.
Le partió su madre.
Here's who has a shot to take that throne in terms of being a crossover star is Big Baby Anderson.
I believe that. I believe
he has the charisma, man.
If Big Baby Anderson gets a belt and he entertains with his ring entrances, his personality, Shakur's never going to take that throne from him.
But let me say this:
Heavyweight.
the problem with the heavyweight division is one, it's unpredictable. Two, you got Makhmudov, Jalalov, you got Yoka. These guys, like, look, I like Anderson. Don't get me wrong. He has his work cut out for him because that's the crop of heavyweights that's coming up with you right now. Them guys is the guys that is going to be the guys when you hit your peak. When you hit your, these is the guy, and these are some bad motherfuckers. Like, White is this generation, Joshua, everything we've been talking about. But you got to worry about that Jalalov character. You got to worry about him because he's like a LeBron to where he's a really big guy, but he even all over and he's solid. He ain't lanky like Wilder, and he ain't kluggy like Joshua. He athletic and big. Watch that motherfucker. He got his work cut out for him.
And he better hope Fundora don't get on them pads.
Bro, Fundora need to get on pads, bro. Like, you need to gain some weight, bro. You can't just be walking around here like that, being all skinny like that, hitting hard, bro. But it's like Fundora. I just wonder when you get the middleweight, how's it gonna go? You're tall, you're tall for 54. But when you start getting around them guys that's solid, and they could punch, we'll see. Because I like Fundora for what it's worth, and he's fun to watch. So I wish him success.
Guys, let's not forget what happened. Lubin dropped from fucking Fundora.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That's if you wouldn't have said that, I would have forgot. If you wouldn't have said that, I forgot that he got dropped in that fight.
Yeah, he dropped him. He got hurt bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he was hurt that bad. I mean, he went down, but he wasn't like rock, was he?
No, I mean he wasn't. Look, he wasn't on Queer Street. We could say that.
Right,
He wasn't woozy.
No,
but he got dropped though.
Yeah, he did.
God, the middleweight division sucks ass, bro. Like,
it fucking sucks, right?
That division is so fucking garbage, yo. I'm like, yo, there is no good news. The next relay is going to be about the middleweight division. I don't want to give it away. But it is just so...
And it's always the same reason, inactivity.
It is.
It is, bro.
For most of boxing history, after the heavyweight, that was the next glamour division.
I think that the last gasp of the middleweight division really was the Canelo Golovkin fight, because that was the last great middleweight fight that we got, and that was what, 3-4 years ago, wasn't it? Like about 3 years, right?
Yeah,
2017 and 2018. Yeah,
and it's just been pupu y caca ever since, bro. Like pura mierda. Like, yeah, Golovkin versus Derevyanchenko was a solid little fight. It's not that it wasn't. And Golovkin versus Murata was fun. Like, it was fun how I thought it would be fun. But you talk about super fights, it's like, yo, dog, like middleweight se fue pa la verga, man. That shit is...
I heard Munguia and Morales got stoned in Tijuana.
Dilo otra vez.
I heard Munguia and Morales got stoned in Tijuana. I don't know how.
Really?
Yeah.
Nah,
no, I could believe it, because it's like, yo, deja la pendeja, ese muchacho tiene que pelear con alguien, man. Like, you gotta fight somebody, bro.
I don't
like,
know ningún Danny Jacobs or nothing like that. Danny Jacobs, I think he's done, don't you think?
I don't know.
Está viejo ya.
Oh, okay.
Ya ese güey hizo su dinero, ya que se retire, güey.
Real shit, yo.
He made a lot of money.
He did, like, he made good money. Like I've always respected his business savvy, and there was a time when he was actually a very fun boxer to watch. But you can see he's on the back nine now. Like, you can see that like, yeah, Danny, you might need to hang him up for somebody. Because remember, John Ryder hurt him, bro, in that fight.
Yeah,
and he's already been champion. So what else is there to prove?
He better not dream of, like, look, he better not go to light heavyweight, bro. He better, like, don't do it. Don't fucking do it.
I think
bro.
Joe Smith Jr. would have.
I could already see it. Zurdo versus Danny Jacobs at 175.
Bueno, también no te la pierdas. Zurdo, even though we don't care about the Bosell fight, first let me shout out D-Money. I appreciate that, D-Money. Null says, Julius, on your point of dirty tactics, what about when the ref clearly protects a guy, punishes I hate that. I hate when I do hate that. I'm not going to lie. When the ref is riding a guy's case all night and he don't let him fight his fight, that shit really gets on my fucking nerves. Because you fucking it up, not just you fucking it up for the fans when you don't let the guy fight his fight. Like the referee in Joshua versus Parker, that dude was getting on my like. Let them fight on the inside, bro. Like get the fuck out of the way, bro. But you know that's boxing, man. Like it's just boxing. Zerto's fighting Bosel, right? And while that's not a great fight, and I got Zerto knocking that dude out, like that dude, Zerto's gonna knock that dude out. It's a good fight because it puts Zerto in position for Canelo. Puts him in position for Canelo because it's a WBA final eliminator. Ustedes saben, Zerto versus Canelo Alvarez can be a monster fight. It can. It can be
Really
popular. It can be, you know, pero depende, because is the WBA really gonna put the squeeze on Canelo to fight that fucking guy? I don't know, man.
It could be a big fight. It could be a super fight if, like we saying, Zerto and Benavidez fight each other.
Yeah,
The
but
winner of that
Benavidez
fight makes the Canelo fight like a super fight.
Yeah, or if Zerto would have got to be both or somehow pulled it off. You don't know. Somehow. That would have been a huge fight.
Bro, I would love, like, to me, they don't need a belt, David and Zerto to fight. I will watch the shit out that because I know somebody gonna go to the hospital. I feel like it'll be Zerto though. I feel like David has more dog than Zerto.
I
don't know if you noticed. Is Haney in Australia yet? Did he leave for out there?
Nah, who did I see Haney with? I just seen a picture of him with somebody. He with Crawford, so now I don't think he in Australia because I just seen pictures of him with Crawford.
Yo, man, Kambosos is looking strong, bro. He's looking fit. He's looking sharp.
JBN, who you got in that fight, bro? Who you got in that fight, bro?
Kambosos, man, but my respect to Haney, bro. I had no respect for him. Well, I started having respect for him once he beat Linares, once he beat Jojo Diaz, but this put the frosting on the cake. I have a lot of respect for him now, but I got Kambosos winning.
Leo, who you got winning that fucking fight, bro?
I stand by my predictions about a month ago. I think Devin Haney is gonna win. It's gonna look bad. It's gonna be similar to the Linares fight.
Boring, like shitty.
No, I think Kambosos is gonna hurt him in some point of the fight, but it's gonna mass a strong lead, and it's gonna get a points decision, even in Australia.
I got a different question for Drew. Different question. Is it actually beneficial to the lightweight division, in your opinion, for Devin Haney to win that fight?
It is not, because he's not going to be at that division long. And if he wins, I don't think he wants to come down to 35. I think the weight's killing him. I really do. I think he'll have a little bit more punch resistance at 40. But it's better for George because it'll add another shot to 35. And it'll be a global spectacle. Like I can't see Devin. I don't see how Devin wins a decision with knowing what he has to do, Jules. This is not Linares. This is not JoJo. They say you get 20-30% more confident when you become a champion. You're fighting at home, 50,000, all the glory. Like, you going into that dungeon, never having experienced that. George is at home being on the road, like Usyk.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, JBN.
And something that I had thought about early, Kambosos is young, man. He's not that old. He's 28, so he's at that point or that age where every big fight, which I think the Lopez fight was, every big fight that he wins from now on, he will learn from that fight and he will gain experience from that fight. So I feel like that win gave him experience and just the heart to really pull it through. So that's why I think he's going to beat Devin.
Say it all the time about George. Who the fuck was he getting his ass beat in sparring by?
Manny.
Manny,
yo.
Pac-Man.
This is the thing. The main thing that stands out for me is you got a fighter who's going on the road that he is not an action fighter. The Australian judges, perhaps more so than other judges, they go for the action, bro. Joe don't even got to land. As long as he throwing, they going to give his ass the rounds, bro. They are. Believe it. So you go down there trying to fence with your jab and be finesseful and shit, you don't have power. It's established, bro. You don't have power. This dude took a shot from Teofimo late and got up. So he ain't no bitch. We could say that. If he could take a shot from Teofimo, a clean one, he could take one from Devin. country, is it more beneficial for lightweight for George to win or Devin?
George, because we already know that Devin's going to move up, and I mean, yeah, okay. Well, a lot of people want to see Devin, win and be undisputed, but what's the point? Because he's just going to move up and leave the division anyway. It's better if George does, and then they can make other fights, and Haney can just move up and go about his business at 140.
I'll say that
Yeah.
financially, I think because that would, let's say George won the fight. So now you have an Australian undisputed champion that is fought in front of 50,000 people. If he makes it past Devin, right, he can really bring a lot of money to that division as what he is, undisputed, as what he would be. And I think that would be beneficial. I'm like, nothing against Devin, the fighter, but I'm like, yo, these guys that big him up, right? The guys that big him up shit on the platform that he been fighting on. It don't make sense. Like, y'all all love Devin but hate the zone. It can't work like that. Right. You gotta be watching him to bring the money to the division. And y'all stay hating on the fucking it don't make sense to hate on the platform, but that's the fuck y'all do.
That's true. I hadn't thought about it.
Especially at them lower weights, Jules. Guys, we need a champion that kind of like dominates a division for a year or two, just to bring buzz to the division, bring money. Shit. That's good for boxing if you got a dominant champ that's exciting.
Just talking about the lightweight division, it's like if George were to win, we know George isn't going to go to 40. He has no issues so far making 135 pounds. He's not going up to 40. So, if he would have beat Devin, he probably has another little title defense. I don't know what the situation with Lomachenko is because we ain't heard nothing about him in weeks. But it's like, yo, you would have a guy that could bring big fights to the lightweight division, funnel all the contenders to him because he has all the belts, and the division would be alive because of that. Whereas if Devin got the belts, Devin not going to stay there. They're going to get redistributed. The division's going to be all divided again, and then it just starts over.
Julius, can I say something?
Go ahead, Leo.
Something about the song. Fuck the song. Fuck them all. You know why? The Canelo versus Bivol fight is not going to be available in all Latin America.
¿Qué?
¿De veras?
Not even in pay-per-view. I was going to buy it. It's not going to be available.
At all?
No.
No es posible. No es posible.
What a bunch of mierda that is, man. Jeez.
You know what you got to do, bro? Esto es lo que tú haces. LiveNet TV. That's a thing that like you could watch different channels from different countries. I only use it if I can't buy a fight and it's not available at all in my area. Then I'll pull it out and use the shit. Or if anything, I'll shoot you a link I used to watch Savannah Marshall's fight because it was the same thing here with her. Called? Yeah, like her last fight. ESPN didn't pick it up in America, and there was literally no way to watch it. So I'll get you the link. I saved it to my notes, the link, and I'll shoot it to you the day of the fight. And like I said, the only reason I used it was because I didn't have a choice. If it was on Fight TV, I would have fucking bought it, but I didn't have a choice. I'm like, oh well, if I gotta stream it, then I'll stream it because I don't have a choice.
The reason is the Sun expect that most of the local TV networks in Latin America are going to buy the rights for Canelo versus Bivol. The thing is, nobody watches boxing in Chile. Nobody. I am the only one. I am the only motherfucker watching boxing.
Oh, really? It's not that popular down there?
No. Yo, no. Pero la manera que tú dijiste eso, it was like with the convict, like I am the only one in Chile watching boxing.
Eres el único.
Wow, you're in Chile, eh, Leo?
Oh shit, nah. But I think that well, no. Matter of fact, I just realized that the fucking fight is basically 2 weeks away. So, damn. So, but I'll shoot you. Look, if the day of the fight, just hit me up. I'll shoot you a link so that you can watch it. I'm buying the fight. Bro. I'm buying the fight. I'm gonna support my man Canelo Alvarez for doing this great service to this beloved sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like. Motherfuckers, if the cash cow of boxing is a busy fighter that fights often, every other fighter that is not a cash cow needs to get on that schedule and get with the program. Because if the cash cow of boxing thinks it's necessary to be active, why the fuck don't you?
And it's against a champion. Always.
I hope you don't lose, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Fuck, man, I'm really scared about that fight, man. That's a hard fight for Canelo.
What
Leo,
fucking fight,
there's a
bro?
site called. I'm looking right now. There's a site called pay-per-view ppv.com. They won't let you access that in Chile.
Wait, what?
It's called ppv.com.
PPV that. PPV that.
Just hit me up the day of the fight, bro. Hit me up the day of the fight, and I know a joint where you could see it for free if it's not available in your area, and I'll shoot you that shit. Like I said, I'm buying the fight. I bought this weekend's. If I could buy fucking Fury versus White, you better fucking believe I'm gonna buy some Canelo.
Right.
I'm gonna pay for the fight. I'm gonna buy it.
Oh shit. Pay-per-view.
How much pay-per-views do you think it'll do?
Did it work, Leo?
Julius,
Let me see if
IQ.
it's available in my country.
That's the
I
panel
think-
question. How many pay-per-views?
I think it'll do realistically. I think it'll do the same numbers as Plant, if not more. Realistically,
Yeah, because this is a fight where people are thinking that he's gonna lose. So
That
it's
he
an
can
intriguing
lose.
fight, yeah.
this has something that fight didn't have, and it's that like, yo, this shit could go wrong, and that sells fights. You know, when it can go wrong, like, yeah, I need to see this shit because he might fuck around and lose. So I think at minimum, I think it could do comparable numbers to Plant. But the thing is that we're not gonna know because the Zone doesn't release their numbers. If Eddie looks happy, then you'll know. If Eddie look happy, like if he's happy, ya tu sabe.
And
But they gotta
what do
release
you think of
pay-per-view
do
numbers.
you think there's going to be any anti-Russian sentiment for Canelo to beat him? Like people want to see it because people.
No, I mean Lance Pugmire tried to interject that into the conversation, not realizing that what are you, a bigot? You think that because he's Russian, we gotta want to like he like what he did was kind of disgusting because right now it's people in Russia that's protesting the war. You know what I mean? There's people that's protesting it. Don't peg him because that's bigotry. That's what the fuck. You don't know how he feel about that shit. Leave the politics to the politicians, bro. Leave the soldiering to the motherfucking soldiers. These are boxers, not soldiers.
Yeah, I thought that question was pretty dumb when I heard him ask that. I was like, "Why the fuck are you asking that for?"
You
An
see, like
idiot.
you trying to do like a if I can change and you can change, everybody can change.
Catch that super chat, Joe?
Say it again.
You catch that super chat? What do you think? What Jam Strong's saying?
If Devin wins, would Garcia and Tank finally come to the table? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like I'm really lost on what is next for Gervonta Davis. Like I'm really lost. It wouldn't surprise me if he enters a deal with Showtime and just stays with Showtime, but maybe he not with Mayweather no more. It could be like that, you know what I mean? And maybe Tom Brown will be his promoter, you know what I mean? Just because he leaving Mayweather don't mean he leaving Heyman. Or just because he leaving Mayweather don't mean he leaving Showtime. So I just don't see him fighting shit, bro. Like what he gonna do? You think he gonna go to Top Rank so he can have to really start fighting people? No. What he gonna do? He gonna go to Golden Boy?
We wish he would.
We do, but he don't.
Yeah. When he came out and said, "Oh, I never asked for any of those fights," that blew me away. You know,
Bro,
like,
that let the cat out the bag. That's where I'm coming from, country. I'm like, yo, so you telling me after all these years, you got all these people always attaching your name to some shit so they could find out that you never once went to your people to do none of them fights? And you got Calvin, you got his trainer, I think his name is Calvin Ford. Yeah, we've been wanting to Lomachenko. Yeah, not according to Tank, bro. Not according to Tank. You saying that. Tank just said, I never asked for none of them fights.
No, wait. Fuck yeah.
You found it. You found it.
No, it's on Star.
All right.
Yeah.
You cooking,
I'm happy for you, Leo. That's
with
cool,
rice.
man.
Yeah.
cooking with rice, yo. But yeah, yo, it's like I said it already about Tank. That's why I'm like, yo, there's not a lot of reason to bring him up unless you got some good jokes. Like if something funny happened, it's not a lot of reason to talk about his boxing.
Like some short jokes, something.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why
Like
I'm waiting for him and Rolly, man.
the best thing that can happen is that look, we win, we do win. If he knocks out Rolly, then Rolly finally shuts the fuck up. If he loses, if Davis loses, we get to laugh at his fans like your man got beat by Rolly, bro. Y'all had Davis pound for pound, so Rolly beat him. So by y'all logic, Rolly is pound for pound. I could not be.
And Ellery's still sitting there in shock with a messed up look on his face.
Bruh, yo, dog, if he wins that fight,
Oh my god!
When are they fighting? I forgot when they're fighting. When are they
it's
fighting?
supposed to be in May. It's supposed to be in May. Bro, if he wins, that'll be the funniest Sunday of ever, bro. Like, cause they rate him pound for pound every other fucking weekend. Why take not on the pound for pound? If Rolly beat him, that make Rolly pound for pound, ground for pound. I'm Bowley, don't matter.
Rolly sound like the brother from the Goonies, Sloth.
Bro, Rolly he looked retarded, bro. Like, he's a retard, bro. But let me not, because I don't want to get flagged or nothing, man. He's just a stupid looking motherfucker, man. Like, real shit.
Yeah,
like,
you gonna run into something.
Yeah, man, you ain't saying. No, you know, man, well, when he talk, all I hear is, bang. Man, Dolly Bomero, I'm WBA champion. Motherfucker, man. God, yo, dog, can you just envision that shit if he knock him out?
Es un niño muy especial.
If that happens, we
Yo,
all
motherfuckers gonna be in disbelief. Like, they world gonna get shook up. Like I said, Davis, I'm trying to be objective because I don't want to lean too far in a certain direction. But what I'm saying is, with him, I don't know what you are. Why? You're not fighting the people that will tell me what you are. You know, like you're not. And it's actually a similar situation to Amanda Serrano, except she is a bona fide 7 division champion. But it's that kind of thing to it's like, yo, every fight I've seen you in, it was always against someone that was overmatched. Always. It was always someone that was overmatched. It was never a 50-50 fight or even a 60-40. Never. So when you get out there and your jab look good and your straight look good and the body work look good, you in there with an overmatched opponent, though. I don't like if you ask me, Amanda Serrano versus Delphine Pursoon, I'm telling you, I don't know who would win that fight. Amanda is a better boxer fundamentally, but physically, she has not been. You ain't fought nobody like that. You haven't. I don't know if she could beat Maiva Hamadouche. Michaela was able to go in there with her because Michaela's big for 130, so she's durable. She could deal with it. Amanda's not big for 130 or 135. If you go in there with a little choo-choo train like that, that's just gonna be on you all night. I legitimately don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
Jules, what you guys expect in the panel? What you guys expecting, or what do you want to see from Keyshawn this weekend?
Really, he's going. He's not. He said he doesn't want to be rushed, and I understood that. That he just wants to make his bones. So it's just going to be another bring along fight. There's nothing to expect right now. Every performance I've seen, he's looked good. He doesn't seem to be lacking anything. So get your W. Make your money, get your W, and get that experience. Get those rounds in the bank. So far, so good, bro. Can't complain at all. So far.
I'm glad he said that. It feels like he's paying attention to somebody that got dropped by Coceres.
Nah,
because he was on that card, right?
Yo, he was though. No, he wasn't on that card. He wasn't on that. Keyshawn on that card where he got dropped by Coceres, that the Wilder versus Fury 3?
I think that was the other top ranked card.
Yeah, I don't think Keyshawn was on that card, but also it's like look, you got an Olympic amateur standout, right? If he's young, don't rush him. Take your time, because by the time he's in his prime, he'll be fucking invincible. Invincible.
He was on that Loma Comey card, huh?
Yeah.
That's the card. I was there, yeah.
If you just take your time with Keyshawn, bring him along like he need to bring along, even though we all know that he don't. If you wanted to move him fast, you could, because he's that good. But move him gradual. So not just you give his body time to develop, he gets the rounds in the bank, gets the experience. By the time he come into his shit, they ain't gonna be able to stop him, man.
So is that fight with Shakur in 2027 or 2028?
I don't think he gonna fight Shakur.
Damn.
I don't see. Maybe it's too far in the future, but I don't really see that as the fight. Like Shakur, if he beats Oscar, I think the fight for him will be Lomachenko. You see what I mean? I think the fight for him will be Lomachenko, because Shakur is not little for 130. He not like really. I see him topping out probably at 140, 147 a couple of years from now. But I do see in the not so distant future Vasyl Lomachenko. I see that.
You know who
135.
You know who I want to see fight, man? Believe it or not, and a lot of people say, "Oh, he'll knock him out," but I think he might give him problems. Is Cruz and Garcia? I think Cruz can give him a problem.
Oh yeah, bro.
If he lands flush on that chin,
the way he throws, he dipped down and
yeah. I mean, look, he leaves himself a little open, but if he connects on Ryan's chin, I think Ryan goes down and doesn't get up.
No, yeah, I'm with you.
No, you're right.
And
Cruz
Ryan
leaves
is there
open. But
Ryan
does
is
anybody
there for
hit
the
him
overhand
flush,
right.
though?
One at a time. Go ahead, Leo.
Ryan is there for the overhand right.
He
He's
is
always there.
He punch like this.
His head is too still at times.
I mean,
That's how Ryan throw the left hook. If there's a picture
Cruz
of Ryan, right? There's a picture of Ryan. He like this. They think he looked dope because his hair. They think when they took the picture because his hair was moving. So it's like a dope image. But really, what I see is, his chin is way out.
His chin is where his nose is.
Yeah, and the thing is, he does that because he backs out. Every time someone gets a feint or try to go for the overhand right, but after 2 jabs, he just backed out. He doesn't cover his chin with his shoulder.
Nope.
He tries to put his left hand out there to try to catch it, but if you throw it like an overhand right, you're gonna connect him.
Well,
especially early in the fight.
The Isaac Cruz fight is a great fight for 2 reasons. One, I feel Garcia has enough power to hurt him and take him out. I actually believe he has enough punch to take Isaac out and size, but also Isaac being so small, he's like Ryan gonna be off balance because that is a very small target. You're gonna have to get in a wide stance to hit that little motherfucker because he's so small. And on top of being small, he fight at a crouch, so he get even smaller. And then he lean off to the side, big overhand rights, big like listen, man. Maybe Oscar shouldn't pursue that fight for Ryan because they might fuck around and give it to you. Like, you know what? Go over there, B. Go over there and punch his hairline off.
And the other thing, how Ryan take his ¿cómo lo toma?
Lo puño. No aguanta puño.
Al cuerpo, to the body.
También.
He's a good body puncher. The little guy.
Yeah.
He punches good to the body, and I mean, Ryan's
from Mexico City, bro. High altitude. That dude don't get tired.
He doesn't, bro. He can keep up a pace, man. He can keep up a pace on him.
All the fighters, I think it was Sulem Urbina that put me on. That she said, look, fighters from Mexico City, if a fighter's ever from Mexico City, beware. Because that's high altitude. And she said Mexico City fighters fight a certain way. And you could tell, like, they throw a lot of fucking punches. Like, yeah, now that she said that, I know. Like, yeah, they really fucking do.
Them chilangos, bro. That's what they call them. Chilangos.
That's what she said, los chilangos. Yeah.
Esos te roban hasta los zapatos, güey.
Yo, some real shit, yo. Like ever since she said, I'm like it's a female champion. She's like fucking Chilangos, man. They with shit. So Isaac Cruz, low key, maybe he could be a star, yo. Imagine if he knocked out Ryan, yo.
Yo, man, I be on the Mexican YouTube channels too, and they all really like him. They all sided with him whenever the fight didn't happen. They just straight just said it's all Ryan and Oscar's fault.
Pero
They were all for it.
eso es lo que no me gustó. Que mira, Sean Gibbons fucked up that fight the same way Oscar fucked up the Munguia fight. Fue la misma vaina.
Yeah. No, I put a comment on one of the sections there, and now somebody told me like, no, it's Ryan's fault.
No, y no, de verdad, no es porque Sean said, yeah, I'm gonna make you a deal to, like, bro, they're not gonna fucking send Ryan to Showtime, bro. Like, what the fuck? No, your guy is the B-side. So if you want the fight, cross the street. Offering you $1 million. What the fuck?
You know what cracks me up, man, is the way Cruz comes out, like, you know, to his with his ring walks and stuff. He's all looking around, smiling, waving at the audience. It's like,
that dude is a killer, though, bro. Dude is like,
he is, but it's just the way he does it. It cracks me up because that's not something a normal boxer does, you know.
I look,
he'll be smiling like
he's there hit, but have you guys seen anybody? Has anybody hit him like flush?
Well, that's the thing. The only guy that hit him flush, really, that we saw was Gervonta. That I saw. That is supposed to be someone of merit because, you know, punches land in every fight, really. But the only puncher, bona fide, that's supposed to be a puncher, we saw with him was Gervonta. And in the fight, Gervonta hurt his hand. So
his head was harder than Gervonta's hand.
That's where I'm kind of going with the shit. That like, yo, if this dude fighting the way that he fights, you have to be able to take punches because he's a pressure guy. He's trying to be in front of you. He's trying to force you to trade. That style, it does require you to have a chin. The saving grace for Isaac is most guys with that style have a chin. That's why they do that, because they know I can take what the fuck you gonna throw. I could take that shit.
And they're really good at like wobbing.
Some guys, you know,
catching
I can't
punches.
Head. I gotta fight dirt, punch him in the dick, in the body, because I'm gonna break my hand punching him in the head.
Nah, I mean, the dope shit about Isaac is he's so short he could punch motherfuckers right in the dick and ain't nobody gonna know.
Probably.
Fuckers ain't gonna know. He's so goddamn little, like you ain't gonna know. But because he's with Sean and because Sean is a bit of a slime ball, like for example, most people didn't notice, right? The shit with Casemiro happened, right? Casemiro, about 2 weeks ago, I think he posted a picture of himself in the sauna, right? So the BBBOC said, well, they don't allow that shit in a, you know, right before a fight. Who told them that he took a picture of himself with a sauna? Because after they removed him from the fight, guess whose fighter got the fight? Sean Gibbons. Casemiro is not with Sean Gibbons no more. He with Ugas Climbers. I'm like, it looked to me like Sean is fucking shit up for Casemiro because that's what I was told. I was also told that whole fiasco about that girl in the Philippines, that's Sean doing that, trying to get him in trouble.
Why? Because
he left him. He's not with Sean Gibbons no more. He's with Ugas Climbers.
Right.
That's what I like, you know, that I'm just telling y'all what I was told that whole thing about that case, that's Sean Gibbons over there paying somebody to say that. That's one. And then I seen the shit that just happened with the Pro Bellum card with Paul Butler that Casemiro was supposed to be in there, but somebody told the BBBOC that Casemiro was using a sauna. Because I'm like, yo, how the fuck they knew? Even if he posted it on Instagram, what you telling me? They watch all his stories? I don't believe that.
If he's doing that, then he is a slime ball. That's some slime ball ass shit, man. It's like, wow.
And there was a podcast. There's a podcast. It's a new podcast. It's called the Best Women's Boxing Podcast, right? They have Rachel Donaire there, and Rachel was talking about how they helped Casemiro with his situation with Sean. Like they told him, like, you know, they ain't got no paperwork on you. They don't have nothing on you. You know what I mean? That he was basically getting dicked by them, and that's what made him leave. That's why Sean got mad at Nonito in that casino. Remember that? Like 2 months ago, that Sean Gibbons was trying to like lunge at Nonito. That's what all that shit is about. So it's like when I was told, like, yeah, you know, all that shit going on Casemiro was really Sean Gibbons. I'm like, yeah, I could see that, yo. I could see that. They was jerking Casemiro, and he broke away from that. Now he with Ugas. And he fucked up that shit. Isaac is with Sean, bro. Isaac Cruz is with Sean Gibbons.
Wow.
Long as he over there, there's gonna be certain fights that we don't get.
You know what I'm noticing though, Drew? He gets making them power moves and getting non-Eastern Bloc fighters on his team. He's branching out.
Let me say this. You notice Casemiro didn't get stripped? Who has a way with the WBO?
Uncle Bob.
Who does a lot of business with Uncle Bob?
WBO?
No. Try again. We just mentioned him.
Ugas Climbers.
Who's managing Casemiro right now?
Ugas Climbers.
Yep.
Bob. Gotta love. I love that old because this was my beef with Casemiro. Whether you were aware of it or not, as a fighter, you went to a side of the street that distances you from Inui, right? Now, Nonito helped you break away from that side of the street, and now you're with Ugas Climbers. If you're with Ugas, you're within arm's reach of the winner of Donaire versus Inui. That's the fight. We might really get undisputed now. Why? He's not with Sean Gibbons anymore. He's with Ugas. Ugas does business with Bob. Bob promotes Inui. Inui versus Donaire 2 is this summer. Might get the fight. Because they gave him 24 hours. And that was 3-4 days ago? They didn't strip him.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle Bobby.
That's where I'm going with it. I'm like, yo, if they didn't strip him, maybe Bob called Paco like, yo, can you lay off my man, B? Lay off my man.
Trying to make this fight.
Let's say this though, Bob, he got up off his ass in 2022.
He did though. He did though.
Last year, he was being a little lazy, and Eddie lit a fire under his ass.
Yo, but like the power moves this year is nuts, bro. He got he got Cambosos versus Haney, bro. He got Tyson Fury doing the wild shit, beat the shit out Dillian. That's crazy. Like the power moves is crazy. Bob flexing all the liver spots this year, yo.
He might get an undisputed fight with Canelo.
Yo, Canelo, the only thing he said he wants undisputed in light heavyweight, bro. Who got the light heavyweights?
He'll be fucking laughing at Eddie's face.
Hey man, Will Lynch said that Sean Gibbons sounds like a psycho ex-girlfriend.
Real shit, yo. But he do though. But real shit, like Bob is really, really, really flexing the liver spots this year, bro. It's crazy. I hope Eddie okay, man. Like the other thing is Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Usyk. Yeah, that's gonna be a great fight. But most people feel Usyk's gonna win the second fight. Most people feel that way.
I feel like AJ really doesn't have a plan still, and he's just doing this bulk up stuff to try. It
doesn't feel like he has a plan, yo. It just like I haven't seen nothing. Maybe he has one, and we just ain't seen it.
I'm not feeling it. I can tell you that.
I don't feel, bro.
What do I know? But I don't feel.
No, but I'm with you. Like I don't really see what the fuck y'all gonna do, bro. You need to let Usyk have that fight. That's what you need to do. Let Usyk go. Let him go.
See, but Usyk might be Usyk might be at a disadvantage because of the war and a bunch of stuff. I mean, he's preparing.
He lost weight. He lost weight. He lost like 20 pounds, bro.
Yeah, right. So I mean that might hurt him.
I don't know, bro. It's gonna be a good fight though.
That's what's making it intriguing.
I think Ugas and them are holding off on all the shit to like get him at least ready for that fight. I'm surprised.
Look, they're talking about fucking what was it, July or June 20 something? Like, bro, there's plenty of time because we at the end of April. There's May, June, July. Yeah, there's plenty of time, bro.
July, yeah.
There's still good time for him. Get a good training camp in. Get that weight back on.
Exactly. So long as he's not distracted by the war, but shit is wild, man. Anyway, gentlemen, I'm fucking sleepy.
Always a pleasure.
Catch y'all on the next
Have a
one.
great night, guys.
Peace, IQ.
Jules,
Peace, guys.
thanks for
All
having
right,
me on,
Leo.
Jules. All right, fellas.
All right, y'all.